Hey all, it's Nim or Nimacree if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today, we're going to be doing a reaction video from Blizzcon. Apparently, while I was working all weekend, this happened. So I'm super excited. I don't know what exactly is going to go on. I've heard some rumors, but I've never seen this, so we're going to go react live, do all that jazz. And as you guys know, huge World of Warcraft fan. I mean, I wore this to work today, the Alliance colors here, so that's what's up. And working 12-hour shifts and then having a 2-hour commute, an hour each way, doesn't leave me a lot of time to do anything on the weekends. So if you're wondering where I was, that's where I've been. I am more live during the week though. So I think let's get started with this. It'll be a great time, and you know, I'll give you my thoughts and reactions along the way. So let's take, without further ado, let's look at the lady with the really cool, like, Captain Marvel jacket. So let's see what we got here.
Than someone who carved the path in the first place. Everyone, please welcome my friend and the executive creative director of the Warcraft universe, Chris Metzen.
Okay, all right, Chris Metzen. Listen, that is dope. I love Chris Metzen. If I remember correctly, he was Thrall, and the fact that he came back was a big deal for me. So let's see what he's got. I think turn this down a little bit. Man, imagine what it would be like on that stage, right? Imagine that. Imagine how crazy it would be to be on that stage.
What up, Blizzcon?
See, that's the type of energy you need to have. It's you know, and I know a lot of people get mad at the do you not have phones type guy, like, or is this an out of season April Fool's joke or whatever, but that's the type of energy. This is your trade conference, right? This is the place where people paid potentially thousands of dollars to come see product announcements and talk to friends and just essentially be in this little bubble of nerd outness. That type of energy is needed, and the fact that, again, Chris Metzen been a big part of the game for as long as I can remember. And I mean, I know he left for a little while, but now he's back. Like, that's what you need. You need that. So, excellent. Right now, no notes. I know he just started talking, but still, like, it's what I like to see.
Holy smokes! Horde, where you at? Alliance!
Yes! For the Alliance! Look, I'm wearing an Alliance shirt. I play both factions, but I'm wearing an Alliance shirt. You gotta rep what it is, so we just come up here like, yes, Alliance. And if I had hit the gym before recording this, I'd be a little bit more pumped. Should have done that. Next video.
Blizzcon as one!
Yeah, there it is. That's right.
Holy smokes, thank you. Thank you. It is, thank you guys.
You know, the fact that people are still talking and excited and hyped, yes. I like that because, again, so for the longest time, you know, it seemed like WoW was, you know, on its back foot, on its heels, trying to recover and trying to react. And now, from what I understand, with Metzen back and a few other things, they're trying to make changes, especially with the new recent acquisition with Microsoft. There's an influx of capital, and there's a whole bunch of other things and new people. And they're trying to take the lead again. Because remember, there was a time where the MMO world turned on what World of Warcraft did. Now, will that happen again? I don't know. I'm not going to go that far. But this, again, is a place of not even pure hype, but just like dreams. You know, This is a pure place of dreams. Because BlizzCon has always been this really cool thing. And one day I hope to go. Maybe next year. Maybe next year I can actually eke it out in my schedule to go.
It has been a long, strange trip to get back to this spot. I tell you that.
Yes, it has. Because remember, I believe he did the 2008, you know, or whatever. Like, he did the Wrath of the Lich King thing, where it was like, you know, who here has heard some rumors? You know, your accounts are all bad. You know, making jokes, of course. But he left, and now he's back, and it's yes, that's the voice of Thrall. That is the voice of Thrall, and I'm just like, Yeah, let's do it. And listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to equate this to my buddy Words' World, the Never-Ending Quest log, right, of Arpegia, right, however you want to pronounce it. He's going to get mad at me. He's like, Nim, you did it wrong. But the point is that if Words, like Chris Metzen, help create an entire world, right, and then it takes off, it does this really cool thing, and then, he leaves for whatever reason, right, like Metzen left. And then they come back. It's like, holy shit, okay, this is amazing. This is amazing, this is amazing, this is amazing. Because person who was there at the founding, a veritable titan of creation, is here. And yeah.
It has been interesting this past year being back under the hood of World of Warcraft. It has reminded me of a few things. One, I love Warcraft.
Again, no notes. That is an amazing thing to start with, because right now, everybody in that audience, and probably everybody watching this, knows Chris Metzen loves World of Warcraft. He might get frustrated with the player base, because sometimes the player base, listen, can be a lot to handle. He might get upset with some of the day-to-day tedium of having to administer stuff. But you do not come back to a position of creative director for a franchise like this if you are not 100% on board with the game. If he were to tell me later, like, hey, you know what, I would do that, but I gotta go raid. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I get that. I get that 100%, that you have to go raid. So it's a lot of times people will give the devs crap, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I think they make a pretty good product, and one of my favorite games of all time. And so let's continue.
Number two, you know what? I really missed this work.
Okay. Hey, look, I get it. Imagine being beloved. Like, I remember a lot of positive emotions about Ghostcrawler too. Being there, and who knows, maybe, and then they got the candle, like Nathandra's candle, right, from Legion, one of the old community managers who I think she left, but like it's this really cool thing, and I could understand missing where, because you are immersed in a culture, especially when that culture gets some positive community feedback. It's this great cycle of, hey, we release something, people love it, they offer suggestions, maybe we do it, and then you just end up with all this really cool stuff. And especially with Dragonflight, right now, Dragonflight had a lot of experimental ideas. Dragon riding with flight physics was an amazing thing. I hope they could do that going forward. Support specs. For the longest time, it's been the Holy Trinity, and I always wanted the four corners, because Rift did the four corners thing where there was a support spec, and I like that, and having more support specs means that, okay, now, for those who kind of want to off-heal, maybe off DPS, or maybe boost things, there's a play style for that. And while Augmentation Evoker has had some praises and detractors, it's a good idea.
And number three, on the real, it feels amazing to be back and part of this Blizzard family again.
I normally don't like when companies refer to people as family, but the man, you know what, even then, like, I'm not going to give in too much of the hype. While I'm sure that he treats his employees excellently, at the end of the day, they're employees. Now, they may work and pull on that great chain of endeavor together, but ultimately, they're our employees. Now, if they're friendly and awesome and having a great time, I'm there. But, it's that. Now, maybe family is slang or whatever, but that to me is cringe. But also, this is a place of positivity here, so maybe, everybody's in a good mood or whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna read too much into that.
As Holly said a bit ago, next year is the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft. I can't even believe it.
Oh, man. Can you believe, like, literally the 20th year? Can you believe that? Like, seriously. I have played WoW since, like, off and on since, like, 2006. And next year is the 20th anniversary of this game. Like, that's bananas. That is absolutely bananas that this game has been going on right? Like, I've got shirts. Here's a Hearthstone pillow, right? Like, this is my back from my lumbar. You know, like, it's the fact that that's still going on. It's amazing. Like, because all these people here, while we may have our individual gripes with the game or systems or whatever, ultimately, it's a fun time. One of the reasons I still play WoW when I do is because I have friends. The guy who I raid with a lot of times, better player than me, by no means, but by all means. But I've known since Mists of Pandaria, right? Excellent raid leader. Good dude, too. But I've known him since Mists of Pandaria. That's a long time. And still, here we go.
Whatever. How many of y'all have been playing from the beginning? I love you. So given that, what's that? Doesn't matter. We started thinking, so what next, right?
I mean, that's a good question. Right now, you know, I played Endwalker, and for those who haven't gotten through Endwalker, that was a excellent experience and story, right? I the first patch of Endwalker was probably the best storytelling I've experienced as a catharsis in almost all of RPG gaming. It was so good. And part of that was me playing with other players. And part of that was a 10-year story, basically. It was amazing. So it's always good to think about what's coming next.
What expansion hook, what single storyline could possibly match such a historic occasion? We started thinking about, well, I did, the good old days.
The good old days. The good old, let me put on my nostalgia glasses alert. Nostalgia glasses alert. Back when players were good and loot was awesome and all this. Look, you know, there's no, you know, funny enough, I'm drinking somewhat rose-colored water here. Were there better times in WoW? Yes, I think there were, but it all depends on, you know, who you ask. Some people be like, Classic was the best. Some people, TBC. Some people, Wrath. Some people, you know, Kata or Pandaria. I know my buddy Words is Pandaria. You know, Legion was the best. Some people say Battle for Azeroth. Some people say Shadowlands. Some people think Dragonflight is the best. Right? Or some people think Warlords of Draenor is the best. You know, there's so many different answers you can have there. You know, it is what it is. But there is a time to reflect on what worked and see if you can't implement that in the future. And so that's what I'm going to take from the good old days, is that, yeah, like there's stuff that happened that was really good. We should do that again or iterate on that.
Right? And some of those early mythic ideas that kind of established the background of Warcraft. Started thinking about even some of the newer ideas that have played out more recently, but still in a way feel a little unresolved.
See, I like that. I like plot hooks. Tying the lore into, like, you know, imagine, you know, webs and red string. Let's insert the Always Sunny meme here. Boom. Okay, now that we've seen the meme, tying the lore in like that is a great way, because humans are pattern-seeking animals. We like seeing things play out. We like seeing connections. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people like to solve mysteries, even if they're in movies or guest plots, because they can see the threads and connect them, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I'm here for that.
And in the mix of all that stuff, in the mix of all those ideas, particular things like, what the hell has Magni actually been battling about all these years?
The wounds! The wounds, champion! The wounds! But no, seriously, I'm not up on the lore as much as I used to be. But the wounds. It's fun. We love Magni.
Was the thing that he came to warn us about in Battle for Azeroth, did it actually play out? Or is there potentially something darker? Still,
I mean, we did fight an old god in Battle for Azeroth. That's pretty dark. But I'm I'm willing to bet that, I mean, Ajara and the Black Blade Zelthath does say that for all of his posturing and pandering, N'Zoth was always the weakest of his brothers. So, sure. I'm willing to bet there could be something darker, something more sinister, something more evil, something with a nice mythic loot drop. Hopefully something that's not a pain to play with pugs.
Looming on the horizon. I don't know.
I like that. I don't know. That's great.
Will there eventually be an apocalyptic?
Oh, that looks like the Black Empire. That looks like the Black Empire. Oh my god, if we could go back to the Black Empire days are great, because like Chromie and Eternius fought, like you end up at the Black Empire, part of the Chromie's quest line, and it's amazing. You get to you leave very quickly, and when I got there on stream, I was like, oh my god, we need to leave now. We need to leave right now, because this is not a friendly place for us to be.
Confrontation between the forces of the light and the void. Talk to me, Blizzcon.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what, for nothing, my pally Maine, I'm all in on that kind of thing if it happens.
Okay, Paladin Maine, listen, were you pandering to me? Did you make this for me? I feel like a little bit of this was made for me. I love the Paladin, right? I love the Paladin. I wish I was good at the Paladin. I'm somewhat okay. But, there are people who are so much better. And I love the Paladin. So forces of light and dark and crashing and it's so good. It's gonna happen.
And really the big question for all the marbles, what have the Titans actually been doing since the dawn of civilization?
I mean, that's a really good question. We see some of them at the end of Legion, where we beat Sargeras back. We kill Argus, and we beat Sargeras back, and he's basically Illidan's prisoner, and then they're off in space. But we only see them. We don't actually really find out too much about them outside of some very little tidbits in lore. The Discs of Norganon being part of that.
What is the real purpose of all of their cute little installations slammed into the side of the planet? Do we know everything we need to know?
No, we don't. I'm gonna say that right now. We don't. But I want to know. Again, this grand narrative that we're building towards is I want to see that, because ultimately the Titans are what built this. We can get the answers from them. And how interesting would it be if they said partially, we don't know, because we know that there are different Zareths from the lore. So we saw the Realm of Death, Zareth Mordris. But there's also Zareth Ordris, and they mentioned a few other Zareths in various lore pieces. And those are, behind the scenes creation. The dev kits, essentially, of the universe. So I'm interested to see where this goes.
About their real intentions for our world. Just saying. BlizzCon. All of these hooks. And 100 more. 68. Carry the 2. A bunch more.
He's good on stage. That's another thing. He's good on stage. He's good doing crowd work. The most friendly audience he could have, but he's good at doing crowd work. Not every presenter. J. Allen Barak was not good at crowd work. Chris Metzen is good at crowd work. So because of that, I think, a lot of things land. And, even if a joke it doesn't land super hard, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell it, and we'll move on. It's fine.
All cooking in the pot. Started to reveal a storyline.
Ooh.
Something epic. How epic? Real epic.
Again, crowd work. Knows what's up. Got it. Makes jokes, references. Easy to talk to.
A storyline that in almost every way feels like the culmination of the first 20 years of our storytelling.
Please let that not be hyperbole. Please. I would love to have a narrative that pulls from everything, because for the longest time it's been, patch to patch to patch to end boss to pre-patch to threads, and to have this whole grand narrative pull together and work with cosmic forces and build things would be this wonderful catharsis. And then afterwards, I don't know, a lower stakes expansion. We'll worry about that later. But what I'm saying is, to have a plan, it makes sense, because essentially we're creating the world by interacting with it, right? The Titans make the plans and they do the stuff, and then the players act, the characters through the players, change the world and do stuff and play, and then they respond and all this thing. But to have something be wrapped up and plot points resolved means that that's canon. It's not retconned anymore. It's not going to change in an expansion and a writing team. It's that. We've done it. It's in stone. It's chiseled. That's the history. And now, new stuff. And hopefully we're building towards that, carving that into the stone tablets, essentially, and being like, that's the history of Azeroth. And now, next. But we still got to get through the culmination, the historical moment, the culmination, the apex. That cathartic moment where we finally, it makes sense. And then the falling action.
A storyline, provided we do our jobs, we do the thing.
Okay, that is a great nod to some of the writing not always being the greatest. That being said, I'm not criticizing any individual writer. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is done with management and things like that, so I'm not going to criticize any individual writer, but the doing their thing, we have to remember that a lot of content in earlier expansions was cut. I think in Warlords of Draenor specifically, I believe we were supposed to have another island and a whole nother, raid, and that got cut.
That will vector us into the next 20 years of adventure. Blizzcon. Are you with me, Blizzcon?
Yes, I am. I am already with you. Give me the info. Give me the juicy info. Please, give me the info.
We call this storyline the World Soul Saga.
Okay, so far, what we know about the World Souls is every planet has a soul. We killed Argus. When we killed Argus, that caused a lot of problems in the Shadowlands, with the Arbiter being taken out. But every planet has a World Soul, and Sargeras was trying to get Azeroth's for various reasons. Extremely powerful magic, source of a lot of power. But this is going to be interesting. So let's see where this goes. But that's what I know about World Souls. I'm sure there's maybe a lore master watching who's like, well, actually, Nim, if you must know, it da 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 da. It's like, and I'm here for all of that minutia. I'm here for that. I just personally don't know it right now. My buddy Pluto, pretty good at the lore.
The World Soul Saga is so epic, as we covered.
Again, reference, love it.
It cannot be contained within any single expansion.
Okay, I'm liking this.
It is built to play out over multiple expansions over the next few years.
Okay, so the best thing that could happen is if we have a Final Fantasy 14 style expand where there's a lot. So listen, a lot of people give ARR, the end of ARR, real shit, right? Because of the fact that it is long and quest heavy and pray return to the waking sands. In fact, even Dragonflight mentions that, pray return to the waking shores, right? It's there. But that conflict with Alphino and the Crystal Braves sets up a plot point that is later resolved at the end of Shadowbringers. And it is an excellent moment. I'm not going to spoil it for those who want to play through that story. I recommend it highly. But yeah, doing something like that is amazing, because originally it's like, I got to get through this, kid fails. We end up in Ishgard, and, we go through the story of Heaven's Ward, and, well, that's kind of something that happened. Well, actually, no. Those events aren't done. There's some guy who keeps telling me sloppy in a dungeon fight, and I got to kill him, and I do. And then I end up And I ended up in Stormblood with Xenos. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're still doing this. So, multi-expansion story, yes, that checks all of the boxes. All of the boxes. Now, listen, before I let him continue, I see two problems, right? One, the whole narrative, right? You gotta, the whole narrative has to make sense and be enjoyable to most people. I'm sure they can get that. That's fine, especially depending on your quality things. As long as people have fun gameplay and a somewhat interesting story, I think we'll be fine. The real hard part is this. Let's say there's approximately 4 or 5 patches in each expansion. You've got your pre-patch, which will count as that part, and 4 big patches. So you've got roughly 15 patches to tell a coherent story across 3 games, right? And more importantly, each one has to make sense. Now, you can do, twists and things, but you can't do retcons. So that means that the writing has to be consistent from beginning to end in order to be satisfying. That's going to be hard. And I really hope they can do it.
Come on now. Having said that, we are working on multiple ways to deliver this adventure to you a little faster than you're used to.
Always a good answer. I like it. I want the story content. I want the story content. I want the story content. Give me the story.
We're not going to get into it at this BlizzCon. Forgive me.
I mean, fair enough. You're just announcing things. I don't expect you to give us all the stuff because, quite frankly, you're announcing it.
But keep your ears peeled. I assure you, we are moving with purpose. And the last thing we really want is for y'all to have your grandkids controlling your mouse and your keyboard trying to wrap this thing up.
Yes, again, I like that. It's a good thing. It's true. A lot of the WoW player base is a little older, but still, you know what? We're good people. We're good people.
So, it's coming. Also, given the scale of this monster, we have decided to change it up today. Here we go.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
I apologize if you hear hammering in the background. Apparently, my neighbor decided that at 8 o'clock at night, it's on a Sunday, it's really good to start hammering things.
Instead of just debuting your next expansion all on its lonesome, we have decided to give you a glimpse at your next 3 expansion sets.
Oh my God, 3 expansions. 3 expansions. 3 expansions. Like, I'd seen something about this on Twitter, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. But, like, 3 expansions is bananas. Because here's the thing. Normally, an expansion is a huge deal. It's a huge... I remember seeing, the Kata announcements, the Mr. Pandaria announcements. They release a launch trailer, and then they do some things, and then there's hype products, and there's and it's fantastic. And I even got to be in some of the betas prior to the expansion launch, and then, of course, there's the pre-patch, and with the cinematics, and the events, and everything. So to have a plan for for not only 1 expansion, but 2 more past that is an absolutely monumental, gargantuan, colossal task.
Does this meet with your approval, BlizzCon?
Yes, it does. Yes. Yeah, no, good. That's a good thing. I'm gonna have to resub the WoW. I'm already subbed.
My friends, I'm gonna warn you, there may be mild spoilers ahead.
Fine. Tell me the thing.
Actually, I'm just kidding. They ain't mild. Buckle up.
Okay.
Are you ready, BlizzCon?
Yes. Please give it to me. Give it to me now. I want it now.
The first part of the World Soul Saga and your 10th expansion is called World of Warcraft, the war within.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, it's even cracked. Like, look at it. Look at it. It's even cracked. It's even cracked. It's not like a thing. It's yeah. No, I like that. Oh man. Oh, hopefully, what if it's like subterranean, or there's Nerubians, or there's a whole bunch of other things, or maybe it's like existentially the war within, because you have the light and the dark and the void and holy, and maybe we can actually expand on concepts like Elune, the moon goddess, and the void.
In this chapter, you will be descending into the heart of Azeroth itself.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, because I remember the Soulforge machine, right? From the jailer fight. Like you could see it, and the heart of Azeroth, you think like the Chamber of the Heart. Imagine going actually deep into the inner workings of Azeroth, deeper than just like caverns, because Zarlek Cavern is fairly deep and expansive. But just that's yes, this potentially I could talk to a physical representation of the emotions of Azeroth itself, and not just Magni being like champion. There's the wounds, but actually Azeroth itself, and she'd be like, Magni, listen, thank you, but yes,
exploring new subterranean kingdoms and engaging with ancient cultures like the Earthen and the terrifying Nerubians of Arsh-Kahet.
I really just called that. I was like, what if the Nerubians were here? And then he's like, hey, by the way, Nerubians. For those who don't remember, the Nerubians are a very large spider people.
But as the forces of darkness close in around our precious world soul, that's you, will be called to do what you always do.
Dailies. I mean, save the world.
Which is dispense indiscriminate justice upon all those who got it coming.
Yeah,
Talk to me, Blizzcon!
Yes! That person's got a Murloc hat on. I love it. That was the right shot.
The second part of the World Soul Saga is called World of Warcraft Midnight.
Okay. That's crazy, because Midnight is going to be 12.0 in the game. Just throwing that out there. Midnight's going to be 12, because right now we're on 10.0, right? With Dragonflight. And then if we are on 11.0 for War Within, Midnight is going to be 12.0, which is... That's really good. I like that.
In this chapter, you will be returning, ready, to the old world.
Wait, what?
To the fabled lands of Quel'Thalas.
Oh my god, really? We're really going to go back to Quel'Thalas?
There, the forces of the Void have invaded Azeroth, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and
So at this point, this is the second part of the World Soul series. Now, what I don't know is it coterminous? We don't know yet if it's coterminous, meaning it's happening at the same time, or if it's sequential, meaning does the War Within happen at the same time that the Void is trying to snuff out the Sunwell? Because we got to remember, the Sunwell was this huge magical source of power, and in fact, if we remember correctly, I believe it was reignited, and that helped save Muru. It was reignited by Muru's spark after he was turned into Atropius, a Void Lord. It's been a little while since I've done TBC, so please forgive me. But yeah, I know that the Sunwell was the source of how Blood Elves got power of the light. That's a big deal. Also, the island of Quel'Thalas was an amazing place. Catch-up gear, dailies, all in one patch in TBC.
And plunging the world into darkness and fear. You will not only help reunify the scattered elven tribes of Azeroth, but you will make your stand with the forces of the light and banish the shadow forever.
Okay, as a paladin, I have, like, tingles in my chest and my back. And, like, that is, yeah. Because, again, the reason why I love the storyline and the playing and the game and the narrative, like, this is a fantastic, I cannot wait for that. I like the idea of War Within. That speaks to me. But that speaks to me.
Of course, BlizzCon, it is Azeroth. Things may not go to plan. Things may just spiral wildly out of control.
There is something very interesting when the heroes succeed, but ultimately don't succeed. So, like, I might beat the raid boss, right? I beat the raid boss, we got the loot, but ultimately it wasn't enough, and we have to do other things. Now, when that tactic is overused, it does take away a sense of player power and agency, because it's hard to feel like I lost when my sword is at that guy's neck, and I took it, and I emptied his pockets. You know, or it's hard to, but I do understand that, you know, hey, 3 parts, it can't all be victory, victory, victory.
Leading us to the third part of the World Soul Saga. World of Warcraft, the last Titan.
Okay, look at the background, how it changed, right? So World of Warcraft, right? That looks like the heart of Azeroth. Like in the Chamber of the Heart a little bit. You know, it's very cool. I know that that's probably the one they've got developed the least, but I'm just, that speaks to me, because again, you're dealing with primal forces.
In this chapter, you will again be returning to the old world. Okay. This time, to the wintry lands of Northrend.
Oh, because that's where the Titan Keepers are there. We killed Loken, but Thorim is there. You know, we've got the 4 Titan Keepers of Yogg-Saron. We technically didn't destroy Yogg-Saron, we just beat him and put him to sleep, essentially. So Yogg-Saron is still there. Sauronite, his literal blood that is congealed into a hard stone, is still there. Icecrown Citadel is still there, and even though Bolivar 4 Dragon is a friendly-ish NPC, you know, he just wants to be left alone. Like, don't bother him. He's just the jailer of the Scourge, and the damned keep to themselves. That's a whole lot there, and the Nerubians are still there. The Nerubians there. Dragonblight is there with the Tower of the Red, like where originally Alexstrasza was. There's so much to redo in Northrend, and imagine Northrend getting a higher texture rework. Oh, the Storm Peaks, Dalaran, ICC, just there. You know, Icecrown Citadel, like Icecrown, like it's amazing.
And there, at Ulduar, you will bear witness to the return of the Titans to Azeroth.
So Ulduar is getting used. Ulduar is one of the best raids ever made. And in World of Warcraft, it's one of the best raids. I would say it's up there. You know, I think Ulduar is one of the best raids. There's so much there. It's so good. And it's so innovative, and if they could take the same designs that they did with Ulduar, where each fight has its own individual hard mode mechanic that gave better rewards, mechanically, that's not only it's interesting, but also it's rewarding, and it, you know, can fill an itch. But we're talking story, not mechanics, and I always get mechanics brain.
And there, you will uncover a vast conspiracy. One that stretches throughout the history of the world. One that will challenge everything you think you know about the Titans, their intentions, and the true nature of Azeroth itself.
Okay. Oh, okay. That is, yeah, that's a thing that I want. Like, this man knows how to hype up a trailer. Like, Blizzard always keep him. Scan his brain, do stuff or bring people out with that same level of energy and planning. Because here's the thing. When you tell me you have 3 expansions in the work, you give me names and bird's eye plot synopsis, at least I know that you're tracking, you're thinking, and you're not reacting to market trends or forces. You're trying to set something. And I like that because I remember, again, when Blizzard, when it came to the MMO genre, what Blizzard did, what World of Warcraft did, people copied. We got to remember Final Fantasy 14 1.0. You know, Yoshi P was like, hey, look, play World of Warcraft, let's improve this. And they did. And they came with an excellent product.
In time, my friend, in time. And it's called Silithus. There you go.
Oh, Silithus. Okay, so Silithus, like, originally, was used for the gates of Ank'Rai or Ank'Raj, or however you want to pronounce it. And there were a couple of raids, and then there was, I heard rumors there was a sword, but I've never actually seen it. So that's one of those things. And, for Silithus to be used is amazing. And the fact that they're using older world assets breathes life into content you've already done or areas you've been to. That's fantastic. Because we got to remember, the Kata world revamp is older than the original world now. So to go back to the old world is nice. And of course you have Zorodomi, the bronze dragon who can roll back time in a certain area. So there's just so much potential to do cool little events with this.
BlizzCon, my hope, our dear hope, is that you can see when it comes to WoW storytelling, we ain't screwing around.
See, yes, the creative director, the executive creative director, executive game director, or whatever, I forget exactly what his title is, was like, listen, we're trying to get this right. And we're not messing around. And I like that. He said we're not screwing around, and I like that. I like that focus. I like that drive. I like that determination because it says that, hey, we're gonna take risks. Dragonflight was a risk, and it's a pretty good expansion. It's not my favorite expansion for various reasons, but it's a good expansion. I think it's better than Shadowlands and BFA. I think it's good as Legion. My favorite, Legion's like my second favorite expansion. Dragonflight is right there with Legion with me. And, while other people may be like, it's not that good, it's not whatever. Most of my gameplay, most of my gripes are with gameplay and mechanics and systems and things like that. But the story, if they're working on, I generally am happy with the story. But if they're working on making the story dramatically better, I'm with it. Because I'll tell you what, I occasionally watch the cinematics. And I love seeing them, times change and, you will be remembered for nothing. I still have Gul'dan's skull in one of my bags because, my king, right? You don't know. No, it's for my king. But and today I was humming The Daughter of the Sea to myself, right? And I realized that as I was working, I was humming The Daughter of the Sea, and I realized that these stories are fantastic. I've lived with them for almost as long as this game has been out. Because I only didn't start playing until like 2006. So just it does a lot for me. It's very uplifting to see that people care. It's not just a cash thing. And at the end of the day, if they make money, great, fantastic. That's what their businesses do. But to have a genuine passion alongside that makes everything, I don't know, that much more better.
We are playing for all the marbles. We are working to establish a thundering heartbeat for this franchise. Now. Now, BlizzCon. Hearken to me.
Hearken to me.
Always wanted to say that.
That's really good.
Thank you. Whether you are a current player, and I'm going to bet that most of you are.
That's good.
Or maybe you jumped off the WoW train a few expansions ago.
Shade. but accurate. You know, it is what it is. That's also a really good freeze frame where it's like, hey, you know, it's that's good.
Now is the time to come home.
Okay.
Now is the time to pull on your boots, pick up your broadsword or your favorite glowy staff.
Paladin main checks out. Where it's like, I've got a sword, and you have some glowy staff.
And get in this fight. Friends, Azeroth needs her defenders now more than ever. Now, in a few moments, we are going to give you a deeper look at the war within. But before we do that, I want to leave you with a little something to chew on.
It's gonna be a trailer. It's gonna be a trailer.
That sometimes very epic things can begin with small, heartfelt moments.
Okay.
What you're about to see is one of those moments. And with that, BlizzCon, proud defenders of Azeroth, let the World Soul Saga begin.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut that video. I'm gonna cut the video here. We'll do another one for the cinematic reaction, because I don't want this video to be like, you know, an hour and a half long, right? So here's the thing, that announcement is a gold standard for BlizzCon and should be studied and emulated and figured out in order to deliver that type of content and hype all the time. Why? Because the crowd was with him. He had substantive things to deliver and things to tease. In addition, the presenter knew how to do crowd work and could speak to people and delivered genuine passion. Not just some type of, like, you know, thing, well, this is a job and I have to be here and I'm the director and that, and that's fine. And I'm not knocking anybody who may not be able to be crowd worky. Okay, that's fine, right? You know, it's fine. And not every game director is out there and can be like, hey, that, because the man, again, the voice of Thrall, right? But if you're gonna go out there, if you're gonna bring somebody out there, you absolutely 100% need them to deliver it, because this is the friendliest audience you will ever have. So yeah, again, I'm so excited for this game. Like, I am actually wanting to go. I've got to do some editing after this, but I really want to log into WoW. Like, I absolutely am like, let's log into WoW. We're gonna create a new human character, and I'm gonna play the game, and it's gonna be fantastic. And yeah, and now it's that. So here's the thing, guys. Tell me what you think about this below. This was my first time seeing this. I was very glad. We're gonna have another video on the actual cinematic trailer, because YouTuber, and I gotta try to work for that ad revenue, as it were. So if you liked the video, feel free to leave a comment, a like, subscribe, all that jazz. The things that YouTube tells me that I should tell you to do. I'm bad at doing that. And honestly, this was a fun video to make. I like making positive WoW videos. I really do. And even though the community doesn't always like to watch that stuff, if you made it this far, thank you. I love being an MMORPG guy, and WoW has been home for me for many years. So thank you for that, and may the Mount Your Farming drop on the first run of the content that drops it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.